Shalom, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah Kodesh. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS and the true leaders of Israel today, and salutations to all of the Akim who do this work in truth and sincerity, who risking their lives and their freedoms to do so, as well as the scattered Israelites who come looking like the heathen but are not, by way of their forefathers, seeds who are Israelite men. The true name of the Most High is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahushai, and the Lord's holy chosen people are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as are the ones who suffer under the curses in the book of Deuteronomy. My name is Akalio, and this video is about the Mark of the Beast prophecy, which is a microchip and other various topics that may come up. Alright, so here it is. Here's an article from nfcworld.com. This is an old reliable website that I've been using for years that has brought out information regarding literally the development of the system to facilitate the usage of the microchip, right? So the microchip is the mark of the beast, and it's a piece of technology, but that piece of technology needs to have a system built around it in order for it to function fully, right? Now, the thing about it is that you already have individuals who are microchipped both in the hand and in the forehead. That is where it's reached to right now. Okay, as the prophet says in their right hand, which means any hand, really, or in their forehead. Okay, so that technology, the brain microchip technology, is out, and so is the technology in the hand, and it is being used for its purposes. So with that and the microchip out there, there has to be a system to be able to allow it to function as they envision it. And when I say they, I'm talking about the people that are in rulership today, who are the Edomites, who are these so-called white people, and their forefather is Esau. The scriptures say that the Edomites are the wicked, as it says in Malachi chapter 1. And as with every single nation that has been in rulership, there is a ruling class, right? And so you have the top percent of the Edomites, who are the elite bankers, which, are referred to as the wicked elite of Esau, Edom. So it is them that I'm referring to. They have the plans, and their plan is their New World Order. And at the forefront of it is the microchip, which is the mark of the beast. So with that, they have to implement all of the systems behind it. They have to put certain things in place, such as the monetary system, the change in that. From the current monetary system, they're moving towards a different monetary system, which is a digital payment system. They're also moving towards a lifestyle where life is dictated and merged with technology. So they intend people to merge with the technology by way of being microchipped. So that automatically merges someone with the technology, but also for one's life to be so intertwined with technology every single step that they make. Okay, so people are going to be merged with the technology using the microchip for literally every single thing that they do in life. Okay, and you can see that by way of first of all, the prophecy in Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So the mark of the beast prophecy states that unless you have the mark of the beast, which is that microchip, you won't be able to buy or sell. So you won't be able to conduct life in society. And so with the implementation of the system, we're seeing how they're gradually bringing that in. Okay, by taking a look at the digital identification system, which has been proposed by the World Economic Forum. And it's not just a proposition, it is something that's being developed by every single country worldwide, all right, at different levels. Okay, so, but the digital identity itself is this identity of an individual, which includes your biometrics. So that's how you're going to be identified. And the digital identity is meant to store all of your financial information, all of your medical information. It is going to be the way that you're going to be identified online. It's going to be the way that you're identified on your social media platforms. So there will no longer be any anonymity. It is going to be required to have in order to gain access to government services, online services, any other kinds of services such as humanitarian services. And it's also going to be linked to the smart cities. So then, you have the smart cities as well, the 15-minute cities, which are, it's like the vision of what they see for their goal for their new world order. These cities that are completely controlled by technology, and then the people are merged with technology by the microchip, and everything they do, they wake up, and as soon as they wake up, they're using their microchip to go about their daily life within their home, perhaps using the microchip to open doors in the house, stuff like that, perhaps using the microchip to gain access to their phone, access to the laptop, stuff like that. From then, they just go about their life, and as soon as they leave the house or whatever the situation is, they're going to, they need to go to the grocery store or whatever, they're using the microchip to pay for it. They're going to the doctor, they're using the microchip, all these kinds of things. And this is the situation at hand. All right. So the digital identity shows as well that they're consolidating all of the information onto this one thing. And then it's a stepping stone heading towards a microchip, where the microchip is going to be an all for one use. You see? So how everything you can, if a lot of it as well has to do with one's own personal research. So that's important to do, but I've explained what it essentially is. So with that, you have also NFC technology, right, that works with the various different technologies and allows, because it's near field communication, that allows devices to be able to communicate with each other closely. You have RFID technology, radio frequency identification technology, which goes into it as well, and everything. All right, so here it is from Apple, from nfcworld.com. Apple to expand support for digital IDs and in-store payments in iOS 26. Now, to be quite honest, I'm looking at Apple with squinted eyes. You know what I'm saying? You know that look when you're like, because just a few weeks ago, let me see if I can confirm it. There was an article, Apple to work with brain microchip. If I'm remembering correctly, let's see. Apple is reportedly developing brain computer interface, brain CI, which is the brain microchip technology, partnering with neurotechnology company Synchron to enable users to control Apple devices like iPhones with their thoughts. Okay, so boom, there's the proof. And this is just from the AI, but of course they pull from, yeah. So it came out a few weeks ago that Apple is working with Synchron. Synchron is one of the many brain microchip developers, because it's not just Neuralink and it's not just Synchron. You have others out there like Paradromics. I believe you have some in China that are developing theirs as well. Just different companies developing brain microchips. All right. So they're going to be working. I mean, there it is, Apple devices to enable Apple users to control Apple devices like iPhones with their thoughts. So, this brain technology, this brain microchip goes into the prophecy of the mark of the beast, right? And so what you can see is that a phone as popular as Apple, right? Apple is probably still the most popular phone. Who knows? You have Samsung and Apple as the two dominant ones. Apple is becoming, or is already a part, or been a part of, like the system at hand. And I do remember even some years ago, there was something where Apple, I think Apple had NFC technology built into it or something like that, or RFID technology, one of them, and they it's like they unleashed it. It's like it's been dormant in the phone for a while, but they activated it in the iPhones or something like that. All right, but yes, so the brain chip technology, so they want the iPhone to be working with the brain chip technology to communicate together, and then we're seeing this here were Apple to expand support for digital IDs and in-store payments in iOS 26. Now, I did see the elder apostle Tahar do a video, and he'd been doing quite a few videos on this topic, because this is the main topic at hand. All of the other prophecies of Yahweh Shemishai are very important, and we do watch out for them, but this mark of the beast prophecy is perhaps the most important right now, because the salvation of the elect of the nation of Israel and the destruction of America cannot come and will not come until this prophecy is fulfilled. This has to be, the microchip has to be made mandatory worldwide. The mark of the beast prophecy has to be fulfilled. So this prophecy, all eyes on it. Okay. And I seen that the elder apostle Tahar brought out that apparently the first Apple device or Apple computer was sold for $666.66. Now, we're dealing with the so-called white man, and they are the wicked, and they work on a very high level in spiritual wickedness in high places, as the scriptures say. So they do all kinds of rituals and all kinds of stuff, and there's a lot to it regarding the left-hand side and the witchcraft and the sorcery that they do. So things are intentional, right? There is sinister, devious, ulterior motives to things that they do. So, but Apple and the whole creators behind it and everything, they are a part of the entire system, and as such, their device is going to come online in the way that it is going to be a part, of the system of promoting it. And this is what it is, by Apple being able to function with the brain microchip, to be able to communicate through the brain microchip and the Apple devices, to now the promotion of the digital IDs and in-store payments. So let's read a little bit on this. Starting this fall, iPhone and watch owners in the US will be able to use a digital ID stored on their smart device to verify themselves online for Know Your Customer and age verification purposes. Now remember, your digital ID is literally, it verifies you, and it typically, that I know of, it identifies one by biometrics as well, your biometric identification. And Know Your Customer is something that is a very thorough gathering of one's information to know your customer, right? Like at the bank and stuff like that, if you've ever worked there. I have, so I'm speaking from experience, knowing how that works. It's a very thorough thing that, really presents a very thorough set of information regarding an individual. Okay, use their passport to seamlessly create and add a digital ID to Apple Wallet, and use their card rewards balance to pay for purchases in stores. The new digital ID service offers a secure and private way for users to store and present their ID information using their iPhone and Apple Watch. Okay, so they're adding a digital ID onto the phone, and then they also have the Apple Pay, Google Pay. They also use the phone for payments. I know somebody who literally uses their phone for everything right now. Everything. They don't carry around any kinds of cards or nothing like that. No money, no nothing. The phone is their all for one use device. Okay, they use it for payments, they use it for their identity verification, they use it for every single thing. And so this is what Esau has done to the world, to get the world gradually used to living this kind of way, because the phone, you already know what it is. People wake up, even I wake up, one of the first things I do is that I check my phone, etc. All these kinds of things. People are very connected and attached to it, right? And this is something that has been building for decades, the attachment towards the phone. But this is only a stepping stone, right? Getting people used to this way of living, to then eventually it's just going to be something inserted into the body, right? By way, it's going to be that microchip, and it's going to be that all for one use, where people would already be used to that. So it's really just about people getting over the hurdle of having something injected in them and stuff like that, whatever it is, which those hurdles will be pushed to the side very easily by individuals when they don't have no faith in Yahweh Shemishah. Our people, the Israelites, salvation is only for our people, and only our people can believe. And so, without that faith, like, people just gonna, fold very quickly when it is that the pressure is coming from above, pressure from below, and there's chaos in the streets. and famine and everything, and they're going to tell you, well, you're going to have this microchip in order to eat. You're going to have this microchip in order to go to these safe zones, all right? Or else you're just going to have to be out in the wild where there is quote unquote no food, and it's going to be the people out, the rest of the people out there in the wild with the preppers and whatever, and it's every man for himself, and they're going to, talk about the dangers of it. It's going to be a serious level of different types of scenarios all playing out for every single different individual on this earth. All right, so the situation though is that our people are going to fold, and so it says, with Real ID implementation in effect at launch, Digital ID provides another way for users to conveniently and securely present an ID in person at select TSA checkpoints for identity verification purposes during domestic travel. Digital ID is not yet a replacement for the physical passport Apple adds and cannot be used for international travel. Yeah, not yet. It's not yet. But the digital ID is intended to hold your passport credentials as well. Okay, let me just get the image. Okay, so here it is, the digital ID, and there it is, travel and mobility. So it's intended, these digital IDs that are being developed worldwide by every single country is going to be intended to have your travel and mobility attached to it. Financial services, healthcare, humanitarian response, e-commerce, social platforms, e-government, telecommunications, smart cities. So yeah, your phone is also, the SIM card and however that is all identified is going to be attached to your digital ID as well. So there won't be any more anonymous phone numbers or burner phones or stuff like that. They're getting rid of all of that stuff. Esau Edom is establishing a new level of slavery that he envisions. Is going to be a more perfect level of slavery for him because he's going to have people microchipped. And so by having people microchipped, they're going to be able to track you every single time, every single thing they do. And I'm sure there are other sinister things behind it as well regarding control. Then it's going to be that all for one use device. So when people are going about their life in these 15-minute cities with the microchip and they just go about and they're doing everything, it's the microchip that's being used for every single thing. And so that microchip registers on their database, right? And then all of that information is sent through and gathered and collected and stored for the personal individual and whatever it is, and however it all else plays out after that, But this is their goal, man. And as you can see, they have the Apple technology is moving along with it, and this is how they're bringing this thing in America, because you have other countries that have spoken very explicitly about their digital identification system and literally implementing it. Jamaica has it already launched. You have India, you have other places around the world, right, with their digital identity out there. But America hasn't spoken about it. It hasn't been pushed like that. But how they're implementing it is in a very sneaky way. They're doing it by way of like here, where they're adding digital IDs to Apple phones, just kind of sneaking it in there like that. Not really like pressuring people like, oh, it's going into legislation that we're having this digital ID and stuff. No, they're just sneakily adding it to things that people love to use and that they're obsessed with and connected to, such as their phone. And then they also have been introducing digital IDs via like the taxi drivers and stuff like that with the mobile driving licenses, which is a digital ID of sorts for them. All right, so it's all just very sneakily coming in. But for those of us with the eye salve and those of us that are watching, you can clearly see what this devil is doing. Okay, but the good news is in general that it's all coming together. Digital ID is not yet like all IDs in Apple Wallet. This new solution, take advantage. Okay, cool. And then additionally, verify with wallet on the web enables users to seamlessly and securely present their eligible driver's license or state ID to websites for age and identity verification, starting with KIME. So you have websites that are being able to accept this digital ID. So you see, because all things really just take stages. So they're just implementing this in a different kind of way in different stages, you see. And then of course for in-store payments, iOS 26 brings the ability to pay with rewards and installments to in-store purchases for added flexibility and choice. Users can view and pay with rewards, as well as access installment loan offers from eligible credits, etc. Okay, so yeah, just moving along with the system at hand, and it's all happening. Then you have the whole everything else that is happening in the world around us. So while all of that chaos is happening in all different kinds of places, you have this system being built up just day by day with nobody except for the prophets of Yahweh Shemishai with eyes on it. But that's okay. It is our job, right? And then, of course, there's a warning. Revelation 14 and verse 9, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh Shemishai, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Right? So America is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire, and Yahushua is going to return and deliver the elect. So a part of what's going to happen is that 2/3 of our people are going to be destroyed, and Yahushua is going to deliver the elect. So the part of the 2/3 that are going to be destroyed, they're going to be Israelites that would have taken the microchip. So the mark of the beast prophecy has to be fulfilled first. Okay? So this is just what it is, man. That's the warning. If you take the microchip, you're going to be destroyed. Okay? And things are getting heated because I've seen that apparently some videos are coming out of military people in the military in America talking about and showing that they're getting these kinds of meals, which is shrimp and lobster and steak, which lobster is abominable. But what they're saying is that when they receive that kind of meal, like when they're serving them that kind of meal, it's only a matter of time before they send them off to war. So that thing is going to continue to escalate because World War III is in fact a part of Bible prophecy, right? And the scriptures say that the Lord is the host of, mustereth the host of the battle, or something like that, to paraphrase. All right, so World War III is on the table, and so that's going to escalate, and from war happens all kinds of things. All right, inflation, depression, both on the people and on the economy, food shortages, famine, all kinds of things. So we're heading into some very chaotic times, as the scriptures say that perilous times are, we're in perilous times, and to redeem the times, to be circumspect, because the days are evil, and they're going to become extremely evil more so. This devil is getting ready to push forward with his agenda, so he's going to bring chaos to the world because they want to launch their microchip, which is the mark of the beast. They've been planning it for decades, and they're ready to go. So all of this that is happening, it is all by design, ultimately by Yahweh Shemishai. But the Lord is using the devil to perform his will on the left-hand side. Okay? So anyway, with that, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shemishai by Shem Kodesh. Shalom.